Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader Warrior Guide. Assassin Warrior Archetype Guide. Let's go!
Are you ready for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader? As I am. The Emperor protects.
Now that we're done with a classic warrior, we need to check out Assassin and see what Assassin does. The keystone feature for the Assassin would be Seek the Opening. How does it work? When the combat starts on every turn, you're gonna see a weak spot of an enemy. Sometimes it's gonna be from the left side, sometimes from the right side, sometimes from the north, sometimes from the south. What is important is to whack an enemy, to hit an enemy on their weak side, and you're gonna deal additional damage to them as an assassin. So you need a lot of mobility as assassin. That's why I need movement points and agility. Okay. The next thing that we need to speak about is assassin heroic ability. Dispatch. What is dispatch without reading all of this? Tremendous amount of damage on a single target, especially when you hit dispatch on opponent's weak side. This is a boss killer, the enemy remover, call it however you like. This is like eradicating a unit from a map. That's the ultimate ability. One huge single target damage, but you're gonna eradicate everyone that you hit. That's dispatch on the assassin. Now let's cover Assassin's active spells, active ability spells that you use in combat. The first one would be Death Whisper. The assassin makes an attack that does not count toward the limit of attacks per turn and does not block assassin movement but deals only 25% of base damage. If successful, the target of the attack suffers from hemorrhage. At the beginning of each target's turn, they're gonna bleed, and it's gonna be damage that completely ignores armor. To put it up short, this is a free attack that bleeds enemies, and then you can whack them once more with a classic action point hit. Okay, this is like an extra attack that deals low amount of damage but bleeds enemies and gives you some other extra benefits. Good active ability, very good. How do you use that whisper? You use it on some huge monster at the start to make them bleed and kill them faster, or you use them on a low health mobs that you want to dispatch without wasting action point on them. The next active ability would be Elusive Shadow. For a round, the assassin becomes the lowest priority target for enemy attacks and gains Elusive. The assassin can move through enemies. The assassin gains agility, dodge, and perception dodge penetration. The assassin attacks deal 10% additional damage. All half cover provides assassin 50% more cover efficiency. Elusive fades when the assassin attacks. Elusive is absolutely great, but you need to know how to use Elusive. You can attack an enemy, move away, then use Elusive, then you wait for a round, and then you're gonna hurt a lot on the next round. This is the best way to use Elusive. If you're sure of a kill, and if your assassin is safe, then you can use Elusive, kill an enemy, and then go into cover. Those are the two ways to use Elusive. Defensive, preparation way for the next round, or immediately if you're sure you're gonna kill. The next skill would be Poised to Strike. 10 cells radius. The assassin makes an enemy suffer agility bonus to armor and greater assassin perception intelligence bonus deflection until the end of the assassin's turn. You weaken enemies, okay, they're easier to kill. That's what the Poised to Strike is. I would definitely recommend Death Whisper and Elusive more than Poised to Strike. The next spell would be Dance Macabre. The assassin dashes in a straight line for up to 1 plus agility bonus divided by 2 cells, suffering assassin weapon skill bonus less damage from attacks of opportunity, gaining +2 multiplied assassin's agility bonus percentage dodge against the enemies they dash through until the next assassin's turn. Let's translate this. You dash through an enemy, and if they decide to hit you, they hurt less. Clear? The next talent would be Killing Edge. The assassin attacks grant 40% dodge to the target for this attack. If this attack hits, it deals additional lethality damage, rounded down. If this attack hits an opening, its additional damage is increased by lethality percentage. You remember that the main keystone feature is Seek the Opening, so if you use Killing Edge on the opening and you hit, you're gonna hurt a lot. You're not gonna hurt like you use Dispatch, your ultimate. You're hurt like 2 or 3 times less, but still you're gonna hurt a lot. Alright, you're gonna hurt a lot. It's actually, I would say, the 3rd best active spell for the assassin. And the last one would be Fainting Attack. The assassin's next single target attack will have minus 50% armor penetration penalty with a minimum of 0 armor penetration, but you gain lethality. If its melee attacks, its target rotates 180 degrees. The enemy dodge and parry against the assassin attack is equal to 0 until the start of this enemy's turn. If it's ranged attack, its target is forced to move to the closest cell in a 3-cell range with no adjective cover facing towards the assassin. This movement provokes attacks of opportunity. Good on a ranged assassin that very few people will actually play. Now, what is range assassin? Range assassin comes later on. This is a good spell, but for a different origin build. Okay, this is more for a sniper that wants to become an assassin, and then it's valid. But as far as warrior assassin, melee warrior assassin, I would say that it's not worth it. The best 3 talents that you can take are Death Whisper, Elusive Shadow, and Killing Edge. After that is Dance Macabre, Poised to Strike, and the worst one for the melee build would be Fainting Attack. What you need on Assassin from characteristics is a lot of agility, perception is nice, weapon skill is a must. If you decided to play as some other than warrior that became an assassin, so if you decided to play as a sniper that became an assassin, then you need ballistics. But in our case here, we need weapon skill, melee. And now comes new talents, bunch of new talents for the assassin. Create an opening is absolutely great. You create openings non-stop, hence you're gonna hurt enemies more. Very good talent for the assassin. Inevitable Enervation is a boss killer talent. You hurt them more and more and more from round to round with this talent, if you hit openings, of course. The next one would be an Eye for the Unscathed. Nice, okay, you get defense when you hit a full health enemy. Okay, you gain additional defense out of it. It can be fine if you wanna open with an assassin, but usually gonna open with someone bulky. The next talent would be Professional Acumen. Absolutely broken if you ask me, cause every turn the first use of an assassin ability will cost 0 action points. You're gonna play multiple times for free during combat. I would say it's brilliant, probably the best talent that you can take on the assassin for the start. The next talent would be Perfect Opening. The assassin gains lethality percentage chance to deal 5% of target maximum wounds more damage to an opening. You hurt more when you hit an opening. That's what it is. Ignore for now, okay? Take something else. Creates an opening is great, Inevitable Enervation is great, and Acumen is absolutely superb. After that you can consider taking Perfect Opening as well. It stacks with a main passive, Seek the Opening. Bringer of Doom as the next talent. Whenever the assassin attacks an enemy with a single target attack, this attack reduces the target armor and dodge by minus 15% until the end of the assassin's turn, but it does not stack. I would not recommend, cause it does not stack. Okay, it's only minus 15 and it remains like that. If you don't have anything else to do, then you can take this talent. Mega late game, I guess. Now, as far as other talents go, like Ambush, this is more for ranged assassins. It's not for a melee because enemies will spot you, no matter what you do. Now, you remember that skill that I said that deals hemorrhage, that deals bleeding? This one, Carmine Whisper, will enhance bleeding even further. Very good talent, very good. Consider taking it. Deadly Calculation. For every 10 damage you deal 1 more additional damage. I would say that you should not go for it until level 30 or so, until you start hurting more and more, okay? When you can deal like 50 damage at once and then it's 55, okay? This is not for early game. If you plan to play as Poised to Strike for your main active ability, then you're gonna need Flawless Launch. Now, all of these talents depend on how you intend to play. Okay, I told you what's for what and what I believe is the best. The next one would be Imminent Demise. Whenever the assassin deals direct damage to an enemy, the enemy suffers +1 stack of Vulnerable. When enemies are vulnerable, they're gonna receive more damage from assassin's attacks. I mean, yeah, it's great. Great talent of the assassin, the one you want after all. The next talent would be Killing Spree. Whenever the assassin hits an opening, and you're gonna hit those openings non-stop in combat, the assassin damage is increased by agility bonus divided by 2 until the end of combat, and it stacks. Killing Spree is very, very good, especially on a melee assassin. The next talent would be Leave No Witness. The enemy less damaged by the assassin suffers the Witness effect. Witness: if Witness does not have the assassin in their line of sight at the end of the assassin's turn, the Witness suffers lethality of the maximum base damage of assassin's current weapon. Good on a ranged assassin, not good for our warrior melee assassin, so forget about it. Lethality heightens. Whenever the assassin deals 5 or more direct damage to an enemy with a single attack, the assassin gains lethality until the end of combat, and it stacks good. It's very good, especially on a melee. The next one would be Lone Killer. While the assassin has no allies in a 5-cell radius around them, they're gonna gain 10% dodge and 10% dodge reduction. Good, but it depends on the team you intend to play with. Okay, if you intend to play with tons of squishes, then you need to send the assassin first, juke enemies with dodge, with parry, with elusive and so on, pray not to get killed along the way, and Lone Killer will help you out while other companions from afar, 5 cells and beyond, target enemies and wipe them out. Again, this depends on our companions. I'm gonna play, for example, with a Space Wolf, and I'm gonna have probably Abelard as well, so I'm gonna have 2 full tanks. Lone Killer won't be as useful for me. The next talent would be Mortally Effective. Whenever the assassin hits a target with an attack that has 100 lethality or greater for the first time in a round, the assassin immediately regains action points spent for that attack. Good post level 30, weaker on earlier levels. Alright, this is a, I can say, mega late talent, and it's equally good on both warrior assassin or ranged assassin. Seize the Advantage as the next talent. The assassin gains lethality +15 against enemies that have any following effects: slow, immobilize, or hemorrhage. The bonus is gained for each of these effects but cannot exceed 45. It depends out of the team. I would not advise Seize the Advantage to newcomers. Definitely not. It really requires a solid team to play around Seize the Advantage. The next would be Elusive Speed. If the assassin is elusive, and you are, I told you elusive is absolutely great on assassin. Tested, tried it, it's great. At the start of the turn, assassin, they're gonna gain movement points and lethality until the end of the turn. Good talent. Very good talent on melee assassin and warrior assassin. The next one would be Outsmart. Whenever the assassin hits an enemy without hitting the enemy's opening, the assassin gains +2 agility bonus percentage dodge until the start. If you fuck it up and you don't hit an opening, then you're gonna be dodgier against those enemies. No, just nah. Hit those openings. It's the main characteristic of assassin. Do not hit somewhere else, hit openings. Esquive. Each successful dodge grants the assassin lethality percentage damage for the next successful attack. Nice if you know what you're doing. I would not recommend it for newcomers though. Disarray. Whenever the assassin deals direct damage, the target must pass agility resist with the assassin's agility bonus penalty or become slowed until the end of their next turn. Nah, it's not good. You don't need slow. There are companions that can have way much better crowd control skills and spells than the assassin. You just don't need this. Keep the distance. Whenever the assassin has no more than 1 enemy close by, any enemy that moves into a cell to the assassin must pass agility resist test or fall prone if possible and become immobilized until the start of the This one is actually great because assassin has huge agility, and when enemies come to hit the assassin, they roll the dice and they have a chance to drop on their asses. I would say top 5 talents on the assassin, you know. It's extremely valid on both melee and extremely valid on a ranged assassin that we're gonna cover later on. The next talent would be Morbid Pirouette. Dance Macabre deals an additional agility direct damage. If you wanna play with Dance Macabre for your main damage dealing skill, then you need to take Morbid Pirouette. I explained what Dance Macabre does. And the last one would be Gruesome Gust. The armor pen penalty of fainting attack is reduced to -20%. I do not recommend playing with fainting attack. Again, this is ranged. Way much better on ranged assassin than on melee. And that would be it for the talents on the assassin. What you should use on assassin. Everything over here, from CO to BD, is great to take. Then you need to decide what skill you're gonna use, and then you're gonna search for that skill into the talents that already explain what it does, and you're gonna take that talent as the next one. And at the end, I said that keep the distance is absolutely great. Those would be the talents you are searching for your warrior assassin. What we got left right now is assassin's ulti, or better to say dispatch. Or better to say we're gonna upgrade the ulti now. The first one is absolutely a great upgrade cause you reduce enemies' tankiness. This is a boss killer upgrade for your dispatch ulti. Dispatch hurts even more than it actually hurts, also great upgrade. The second one. The third one, where you're gonna gain temporary wounds out of hitting an opening. So and so. Okay, again, if you are the only one that goes into combat, okay, and the others wait and go from afar on enemies, then yeah, this is good. If there are other tanks in a game to taunt, accumulate damage and so on, to endure all of that, you don't need it on a warrior assassin then. And now we got a last one for the dispatch, upgrade 4. I did not recommend upgrade 4, in short. I really did not recommend, especially not for newcomers. So the best ones that you can take are the first two, alright? As far as dispatch upgrades go. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I thank to all of my patrons and all of the members on my YouTube channel. As always, thank you all for your support, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Are you ready for Warhammer 40k trainer? Because I am. The Emperor protects.